Hello viewers and a happy new year and welcome to 2021. We want to thank everyone who took part in our poll last year for this video. Now 2020 was, to put it bluntly, a rather crappy year, and with COVID at the forefront globally it took a rather detrimental effect on cinema as a whole. However, with streaming services the likes of Netflix and Disney Plus, there were still a number of brilliant movies that made an appearance. For this list we're only looking at movies that had their theatrical debut in 2020, so movies such as 1917, Parasite and the likes won't be included. We also won't be including Nomadland, as that has yet to receive its theatrical release set for next month. Number 10, Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always.
That looks like a positive.
If it's positive, is there any way it could be negative?
Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always tells the story of pregnant 17-year-old Autumn, who alongside her cousin Skylar travels to New York to procure an abortion. Written and directed by talented Eliza Hittman, Autumn's circumstances lead to a harrowing ordeal of uncomfortable doctor visits, financial anxieties and overall harassment. The film is generally quite silent and uses this to express the loneliness of Autumn. It's truly an awakening study of perseverance in the face of oppression.
I get those two pretty much run through a bottle of painkillers like every month.
Yeah, same.
Don't you ever just wish you were a dude?
Number 9, The Invisible Man.
No, please. No. Stop. He's right there.
A 21st century reimagining on Universal's classic Unseen Spectre, The Invisible Man finds Elizabeth Moss trying to convince anyone who'll listen that she's not crazy and really is being hunted by her supposedly dead abusive boyfriend. With exceptional camera work and compositions that constantly tease subtle action in the corner of the frame, the film evolves into a ferocious game of cat and mouse, with Moss commanding the spotlight as a woman tormented psychologically and determined to fight back. Number 8, The Five Bloods.
In Memphis, Tennessee, a white man assassinated Dr. Martin Luther King. Dr. King also opposed the U.S. war in Vietnam.
Spike Lee tackles historic and modern racism, oppression, guilt, greed and brotherhood through the story of 4 Vietnam veterans who returned to Southeast Asia to recover the remains of their fallen comrade and to find the gold they buried years ago. Lee holds nothing back in recounting this sprawling tale, employing a variety of different aspect ratios and film stocks, an abundance of Marvin Gaye songs and references to notable but largely forgotten African American trailblazers. Lee's movie thrums with timely anguish and fury and is bolstered by an Oscar-worthy turn from Delroy Lindo as a man drowning in chaotic rage.
Dad come to you at night, huh? Stormy Norm comes to me damn near every night. Now he talked to you like he talked to me. Come on. I don't think so. Come on.
Number 7, Another Round.
Kom med det. Det er ikke mig. Det er fordi, der findes en norsk filosof og psykiater. Findes skorterud. Du er så dum. Nej, prøv nu at høre her. Som faktisk mener, at det er fornuftigt at drikke.
Aha. Når man kører bil, eller hvad?
Nej, men hele tiden.
In Danish film Another Round, Mads Mikkelsen plays Martin, a middle-aged high school history teacher who decides to partake in an ill-advised experiment with his friends where they maintain a constant level of alcohol in their blood throughout the day. On the surface, the premise of Another Round sounds like it could be the plot of your typical comedy, another tale of prolonged adolescence and midlife crisis, and whilst this movie is funny, it is also genuinely moving and surprisingly melancholy, building to a dance-filled ending that lets Mikkelsen gracefully explore the thin edge between joy and oblivion. Number 6, The Trial of the Chicago 7.
Were designed specifically to draw the police into a confrontation.
Well, if I'd known it was going to be the first wish of mine that came true, I would have aimed a lot higher.
It's a yes or no question. When you came to Chicago, were you hoping for a confrontation with the police?
Aaron Sorkin has made a career out of writing snappy dialogue and flamboyant speeches, but it's taken him since 1992's A Few Good Men to have another crack at a legal drama. The Trial of the Chicago 7 turns the real-life show trial of a group of 1960s protesters into an ensemble piece that marches to the same urgent beat as this year's bigger social movements. The likes of Jeremy Strong, Eddie Redmayne, Yahya Abdul-Mateen, Sacha Baron Cohen and Michael Keaton fight for the spotlight, but it's Sorkin's script that takes centre stage, with a dozen big payoffs that present history in a gripping new format. Number 5, Minari.
Look, they're wheels. Wheels?
대체 어디야?
집이지. 우리 새로 시작한다고 그랬잖아. 이게 그거야.
A gentle film that radiates overpowering compassion for its characters and their plight, director Lee Isaac Chung's Minari follows the 1980s endeavour by Korean father Jacob Yi as he tries to make something of himself by starting a farm in rural Arkansas, an American dream that worries his wife Monica and poses challenges for his daughter and son. Chung's storytelling is awash in contrast that he establishes with a lyrical touch, allowing his tale to slowly reveal itself to be a multifaceted family drama about faith, communion, survival and adapting to new and daunting circumstances. Number 4. Tenet. As of right now, Christopher Nolan's latest film was the last blockbuster to be released theatrically. Whilst the film received mixed reception from critics and audiences alike, Tenet provides an eerie and jargon-filled action premise that takes the end-of-world stakes of a James Bond movie and inflates them to sci-fi proportions. The film's unnamed protagonist is barely one step ahead of the plot, which involves unseen time-travelling villains from the future who are trying to destroy our present by sending people into the past. Watching him try to keep pace is utterly thrilling as he dashes through magnificent set pieces. Number 3. Sound of Metal. Riz Ahmed plays Ruben, a recovering heroin addict who plays drums in a metal band, until he suddenly loses about 80% of his hearing in the middle of a tour. Without the routine of his life and the catharsis of live performance, Ruben starts to spiral out of control and checks into a rehab centre run by a deaf veteran who pushes him to think about his hearing loss on different terms. Director Darius Marder takes an abrasive, thoughtful approach to formally dramatising the effects of hearing loss through inventive sound design while never losing track of the story's emotional themes or overshadowing Ahmed's impeccable multi-layered performance. Number 2. Soul.
1, 2, 3, 4, stay on the beat. 2, 3, 4.
On first viewing, it's hard not to compare Pixar's Soul to the studio's earlier hit Inside Out. Both films suggest revolutionary ways to think about big ideas, emotion in Inside Out and purpose in Soul, and both are the brainchild of Pete Docter. Soul uses intuitively simple metaphors for concepts so abstract they've confounded scientists for centuries. Whilst Pixar's other 2020 release Onward is a worthy mention, Soul marks a return to what the studio does best. It's more than just a feel-good experience, the movie takes big risks, challenging the conventional thinking that its hero will be satisfied once he achieves what he wants, while giving audiences permission to re-examine their own priorities. Before we reveal our number 1 film, here are some honourable mentions that just missed the list. Wolfwalkers, First Cow,
She is a very fine cow.
Palm Springs,
Come on, just do it!
Onward, Mank.
New York playwright and drama critic turned humble screenwriter, mister.
Number 1. Lovers Rock. Steve McQueen has given us some incredible past projects, from his historical drama Hunger to high thriller Widows and up to his impeccable Best Picture winning 12 Years a Slave. And in 2020 McQueen returned to form, but not with just one film, not 2 films, but 5 brilliant movies in his Small Axe anthology, a series of films telling the distinct stories of West Indies natives living in London in the 1960s through to the 1980s. Now Mangrove was easily one of the strongest of the series, investing the viewer in the story while subsequently giving an enlightening look at the past. However, as a matter of personal opinion, Lovers Rock was not just the best film of the series, but arguably the best film of all of 2020. Whilst the plot of Lovers Rock is rather subdued in comparison to the likes of Mangrove, it gives the audience a devoted and loving exploration of Black British culture, and is easily one of McQueen's strongest projects to date. Thank you for watching. Have your own opinions? Leave them in the comments below and be sure to subscribe for new content every week.